Hey, what's up, everybody? Josh Riggins here, and today I'm coming to you on behalf of gospelmusicians.com, and I'm going to show you how to make one of the craziest urban portamento glide type sounds you could ever think of making. And to do that, I'm going to use one of my favorite VSTs, Pure Synth Platinum 2 by gospelmusicians.com. Amazing VST, super well-rounded. It's got everything you need. All right, so pull up your VSTs, pull up your pens and paper, and let's figure out how to make this sound. All right, guys, let's hop into it. So today we're going to create an urban glide type sound, but it's not going to be your basic sine glide. Let's make a chorale or a choral type urban glide sound. All right. So oscillator 1, we're still going to use a sine wave. All right. Let's dive into Pure Synth Platinum 2 and see what other options we have. So let's go to Pure Synth Platinum factory content. Let's go to analog waveforms here, sine. Let's go to SY sine. Okay, cool. Now let's go to oscillator 2. We're gonna use a square wave. Let's go to Pure Synth Platinum free content. Let's go to wavetables, square. Let's go to square 5. Play. All right, now let's go to oscillator 3. Oscillators 3 and 4 are where we're going to bring in the choirs and the O type sounds. All right, so let's turn this on. Let's go to Pure Synth Platinum factory content, Vox, human, and let's go to O2. All right, let's go to oscillator 4, turn that on. Let's click here again. Let's go to Pure Synth Platinum factory content again, Vox, human, and let's go to boys are soft. So now let's play. One thing about this sound, I do not want the square wave to be dominant. I really just want it for character. So now let's go in and do a little bit of leveling before we dive into the amplifier and the filter. All right, so let's turn the sine wave down. Let's go to about -3. All right. And now let's go to the square wave. The square wave, we're going to turn down to about -10. Let's go 10.5. Let's go to oscillator 3. The O we're going to turn down to about -4. All right. And let's go to oscillator 4, which is the boys are soft. And we're going to do the same thing and turn that down to -4. Now let's play our sound and check it out. So now you can kind of start to you hear the vocals coming up a little bit. The square wave isn't so dominant. It's not so abrasive. All right. And we will back it off a little bit more, especially when we get to the filter. The filter is where we're really going to be able to shape the sound. What we're going to do now is go in and do a little bit of panning. One thing I like to do is move some of the sounds off of each other in the stereo field just to give certain things room to breathe. All right. So we're going to go to the oohs and I'm going to pan that to the left. And let's go to the boys are soft and I'm going to pan that to the right. Just to open up the stereo field just a little bit. All right, let's play and check it out. All right, perfect. And last thing, before we leave, let's make this sound a little interesting. Let's go back to the sine and let's alter the pitch. Let's raise the pitch up a 7th. All right, let's go to semitone and go +7. All right, let's play now. So that's it in the oscillator tab. Now let's get ready to move to the amplifier. In the amp, we're not going to do too much. We just want to raise the attack and raise the release so that the sound will linger just a little bit and so that the sound will have a gradual fade in when it comes in or when we press the keys. All right, so let's go to the first oscillator, the sine wave. Let's raise the attack, not too much. Let's go to about 8. All right, let's go to the square wave. Now the square wave, we're gonna raise a little bit more because again, like I stated before, we don't want the square wave to be super dominant. So the square wave, let's go to about 140. All right, that works. Now let's go to the ooze. Let's raise this to 8. Let's do the same thing to the boys soft. Let's go to 8. All right, now we're gonna stay on oscillator 4, and now let's adjust the release. We want this to linger just a little bit, not a lot. All right, so let's raise the release. Let's go to about 1.1. That's fine. All right, let's go back to oscillator 3, and let's do the same thing. Let's raise it to about 1.1. Perfect. Let's go to the square wave. In the square wave, we're going to raise it just a little bit to about 185. And we're going to do the same thing to the sine. All right, close enough. Now let's play. So as you can see, it's not as sharp when you hit the keys, and it lingers just a little bit when we release the keys. Now we are going to add some effects. The effects are going to carry the sound and help the sound linger just a little bit more. So that's why we don't need a lot of release on the oscillators right now, because once we add reverbs and delays, the sound will linger a little bit longer. All right. So now let's get ready to jump into the filter section. On this sound, we're only going to use the filter for oscillators 1 and 2, which is a sine wave and a square wave. All right. The reason we're not using the filter on the vocals is because we want those sounds to be as natural as possible. I don't want to cut out any of the frequencies. I want all of the frequencies in those sounds to be present. All right. So we are only going to adjust the cutoff for oscillator 1, which is a sine, and oscillator 2, which is the square wave. All right. So for oscillator 1, let's turn the filter on. Filter type, we're going to leave that as a state variable low pass filter. Now let's go to the cutoff. Let's turn this down to about 6,000. Fine. Now let's go over to the square wave on oscillator 2, and let's turn this down to about 800. All right, that's fine. Let's make sure to turn it on. Now let's play the sound. As you can hear, that square wave is slowly starting to dial back in the mix. It's starting to just be character instead of sticking out so much. All right. So now let's get into the fun part. Let's dive into what makes an urban glide sound an urban glide sound. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a pitch envelope to some of the oscillators. Now we're going to leave oscillators 3 and 4, which are the vocals, without any pitch alteration. All right. We're going to go to oscillator 1, and we're going to add a pitch envelope to the sine. Very simple process. All we do is right click on semitone and hit envelope mod. All right. So now this will switch and you'll see it say oscillator 1 pitch. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to leave the amount all the way up, and we're going to adjust the envelope amount down to -11. All right. We're going to leave the attack at 0, leave the hold down. Let's adjust the decay and bring it down to about 1.1. That's fine. All right. No keyboard tracking, no velocity. Leave the sustain at 0 and leave the release at 0 as well. All right. Now let's go to the square wave up here and let's do the same thing. Right click on semitone, envelope mod, and now let's adjust the pitch envelope for oscillator 2. We're going to leave the amount completely up. Let's go to the envelope amount. We're going to take that to -11 as well. All right. We're going to leave the attack where it is. we are going to leave the hold where it is. So let's bring the decay down to about 1 second. Leave the sustain where it is and leave the release where it is. Now let's play our sound. Mm. Very nice, very nice. All right, so now that we've got the pitch gliding like we want it to, now let's go in and finalize the sound with some of the effects. Let's go to insert. Let's add some chorus to thicken it up. So we're gonna right click here, go to chorusing. Let's do the dimension D. All right, on the depth, let's take the depth down to about 30%. We don't want this to detune the sound too much. All right, now let's play the sound. Nice. So what this has done is given it some chorus, but it's also kind of widened the sound as well. All right. So two more things. Let's add some reverb. Let's right click here. Let's go to F verb. And let's turn the wet down just a smidge. Let's go down to about -6. Perfect. Now let's play. Beautiful. Last thing, just for housekeeping. Let's go to effects. Let's add a master limiter just so the sound isn't jumping everywhere. And there we go. We have it. All right, guys, so there it is. I hope you guys enjoyed. Take these methods and apply them to your own sounds. And most importantly, if you do not have Pure Synth Platinum 2, do yourself a favor. Go to gospelmusicians.com and grab a copy right now. Until next time, I'm out.